The island of San Juan el Pirata, seen from the deck of the gay little vaporetto which plies between Barranquitas and Piombino on the mainland, looks like an outsized cathedral rising abruptly up out of the sea. Perched fantastically at the tip of its spire is the fairy tale palace of the Grand Duke. To the west, built up from the sheer rock face, is the prison, a dark, dank old fortress where, in the splendid old piratical days, a countless toll of prisoners mouldered into merciful death. Balancing it to the east is the Duomo, which houses the illustrious bones of the founder, and to the north, the cobbled streets thrust their way down to the quays of the fishing boats. But looking southward over the sunlit blue sea starred with a dozen tiny satellite islands, what would be the facade of the cathedral slopes down, crumbling and pine-clad, to an indentation of little bays, and here, above many-flowered terraces, stand the long lines of the Bellomare Hotel, whose boast it is that every room faces into the sunshine and over the sea. Mr. Cecil crossed by the Vaporetto on the same day, as it happened, as Miss Cockerill and her cousin, late in the September after the dinner party at which he had met Cousin Hat. He saw them standing together at the rails, a small, thin, and yet oddly sturdy little woman in a shapeless linen dress and a flat round hat, which looked as if it had once been high and curvaceous and generously wreathed, but had been painstakingly reduced, by some steamroller method, to its present indeterminate amalgamation of flowers and straw, the typical shady hat, in fact, of the elderly Englishwoman abroad, and a younger woman of the type, reflected Mr. Cecil, that it was quite impossible to dress, the droopy type, long drooping back that looked not strong enough to support the height, a standard rose, as it were, without proper staking, long yearning face, long nose, long narrow hands and feet, long skirt, alas, of madly unfashionable length, jutting out in ill-considered gauze like a cardboard bell. Winsome, on her earlier visit, had fallen in love with Juanese folk-weave, and taken home yards of it to be made up by a clever little woman she had found in Sittingbourne, to her own designs. She, too, wore a straw hat, wreathed with, of course, wild flowers, and the mauve beads. But she wore on the ring finger of her right hand a very beautiful opal. He saw his friend Tommaso's eyes light up as they noticed it. Tommaso was the finest goldsmith in Barranquitas. He owned the joyeria there, the jeweller's shop, now that his father, dear old Pedro de Goya, was dead. After a while, Mr. Cecil saw that he was manoeuvring to speak to the owner of the ring. Tommaso loved all lovely things. On this occasion, the rooms had been ordered well in advance, and the ladies found themselves admirably accommodated, looking out, as promised, over the terraced gardens and down to the sea. Mr. Cecil arrived unheralded, but Mr. Cecil, of course, is a law unto himself on the island of San Juan. He said as much as he made his way that evening, passing easily among the hotel guests, sitting sipping Juanelos on the pebble-patterned terrace under the twisted grey wisteria boughs, stopping for a word here, a word there, in his high, gay voice, a slightly battered, middle-aging popinjay, with the ormolu forelock and fluttering hands carefully cultivated for the benefit of admiring ladies in the world of haute couture. For Mr. Cecil's exaggerations are by no means without calculation, and conceal a good, hard, not uncynical business head. And the dear little paunch, not part of the deliberate decor, but which slappings and pummelings and foam-bathings galore, alas, fail to keep down. He was, at the moment, rehearsing a new fashion in which the impromptu mannerisms for which he is, and justly, famous. Soon all London would be talking restaurationese, and adding, so good for publicity, as Mr. Cecil would say. "Oh, la!" cried Mr. Cecil, therefore, stepping lively and at ease among the hotel guests. "One is vastly more wise not to book." "Just turn up unannounced," he insisted, and they thought one must be a VIP, and two poor members of some wretched grouper were doubled up to give one the best room. "But then, of course," he would add, at the same time delicately poking